Okay, today we've stacked the benches just a little bit. We've got power supplies that run very old IC701s. We've got an IC740 that's got its own supply sitting in it. IC751 that someone put a very big blue light there, which I don't know what they were thinking, but that didn't diffuse very well. Anyway, that can be sorted. The real reason for this video is to have a look at this side over here, which is the IC2KL and the Icom power supply that goes with that. A lot of people would run the 8500 tuner. As you can see, this stuff's just in mint condition. And we've got an IC PS30. I don't even think we're using it right now. I think we're on the bench supplies. I kind of just put it there because all these boxes started to look quite good. And, you know, it was a bit impressive. Now, so this fella here goes with this supply down here. So when you put those two together, and I've actually got the speaker sitting out in the barn, they really do look nice. 740 was the predecessor to the 745, which of course then was followed by the 751, 751A, etc. But today we're here just really, we're on dummy load, so not really worrying about how much power we get out of this amplifier. Well, we are, because we want to show that this is a very good 400 to 500 watt amplifier. If you run it at 400 to 500 watts every day, it'll run forever. And if you try to pick the ALC and go crazy and make it go wide, and it'll do, you know, probably 700 watts for a little while, and then it'll go bang. and I've worked on a few of these, getting really across the issues of the IC2KL now, and this one's actually one that we've been through completely, and it's a very clean IC2KL with its supply, but they, you know, they're starting to become quite rare now. One of the big things that's even more rare is the connectors for the rear. Thank God they actually had on the rear an ALC and a send output so that you could hook it up to any radio, and that was the idea. You could do Icom lead to Icom on the older Icoms. None of the newer Icoms hook up without conversion cables. Me, I'm not a real big one on worrying about the auto band switching. I actually think that they had various troubles with that back in the day, and that was always a bit of an issue. So let's just have a look at that. So at the moment I'm in manual 24 megs. As you'll see with this here, I can select my band, you know, momentarily. It takes a second to select my band. At the moment I'm on 28 megs here. So for the guys that want to run auto with the Icoms, look, you can make up conversion cables to do it, and you know, it can be done. But I've normally found most people are running these with later model radios, and these are the radios that used to plug straight in, you know, etc, etc. And look, I've got some workshop cables. Actually, I'll show you the sort of cables. Now, you might look at this and say, hey, Brenton, you've got plenty of these. No, I don't, because they all serve a different purpose, and most of them are the wrong end. You actually, just so you know, you're looking for the male end, which is actually one of these, okay? So that's the one that's generally going to get you out of trouble if you are trying to do a conversion cable, i.e. this here, which converts to IC706, IC7000, etc., 756 Pro, etc. So, and of course, the reason we keep these cables is that we have to test this stuff. Now, this one here I haven't actually used as yet, but this is one I bought in that was exactly for doing that, for a conversion to an IC7000, I think, from memory. So, and you'll get little ones like this here, little conversion. Now that there would be to go to probably, let me think, won't come off the radio. It's going to come off, it's the wrong gender. Just trying to think what they were doing there. Because off the amp and the radio, you're going to need this fella here. Just trying to think why they had an RCA on that one, and must have had a purpose. I just can't remember. They would have been coming off the send off the amplifier, and that must have fitted one of the Icoms, but I can't think which one, because they were normally a male, so not sure about that one. Anyway, so that gives you a bit of an idea about my collection of cables, and why we have a collection of cables for when we've got to test this sort of stuff. That being said, we didn't have the right combination today. There's one cable that's out in the barn somewhere that I just can't seem to find. So, and of course it's always the cable you need on the day. So I just did a hookup between send and I didn't even bother with the ALC, because I should do that quite seriously. I might just do that in a second, just to make sure the ALC is actually, because what will happen is when you're transmitting at the moment, let's have a look. hello. Oh no, actually it's hello, hello. Oh yeah, it's slightly, you can see it's probably slightly just out of ALC there. Now, you can adjust that on the rear of the amplifier, but quite seriously, you know, adjusting your radiator suit is generally the best way to get that to look. If you make this thing go 400 watts all day, they just won't ever give you a problem. So now let's just have a look at that power output too. Let me just hook up that ALC lead. I just wouldn't mind just doing that. Hang on. Now, just to show you something, the ALC does provide a function, and then you can set that ALC. So at the moment, hello 1 2, hello, 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 hello. See, that's keeping that hello, 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 hello. So that's keeping that around that 400 plus a little bit mark. It's nice. It's not peaking over it. So the ALC on this is probably set reasonably close to somebody that didn't want to exceed 500 watts out of the amplifier. And that could be a lie too, because we've played with that amplifier and had to do quite a bit. We probably set that, to be fair. Anyway, someone said it, but I think we probably were the last ones to look at that amplifier, so most probably us. So the Icom IC2KL, you had a matching power supply, which was that fella there. Quite a heavy little beast, actually. The top unit doesn't weigh too much, so a lot of people, they had a reasonably long length lead off this fella, would actually run the lead up to this and run the this fella down below, so that wasn't bad. The AT500, which as you can see is a perfect match height wise. Don't mind I've got carpet on one side and carpet not on the other. And of course, if people wanted to, they could run the ICPS30 power supply to any of these radios. Now, these radios came with an internal PS30 power supply, ICPS30, which was an internal fit. And so when I say came with it was an option, so you had to fit it. So in this case, the 740's got one in it. Strangely enough, the 751 doesn't, which, out of the two, I'd probably replace that bulb. It's annoying the hell out of me, to be honest. I can't. Look, some of these LED mods, have a look at this. I'm going to just quickly hit on this. Now, it's so easy to do incandescent lights that look very much like they're going to match every time. See how they all match? And tell me what doesn't match. It'll be that one there, because, of course, someone's put a blue LED when we were really looking for that sort of yellowy look that goes through with all these. So basically, that'll get changed, and we'll make that look nice. Anyway, that's just a side note. So any of these radios could effectively run enough ALC and enough RF power output to power this fella here at 400 to 500 watts all day long. Now, as you know, in Australia, our power limit is 400 watts at the moment. And, look, I'm one of the big advocates that really feel that ACMA needs to revisit this as a point of urgency. It's been quite frustrating, actually. We're also, over the years, we've sold a lot of Icom amplifiers to people that bought them during that time when 1 kilowatt was out there for that year and a bit. And then, of course, theoretically, I've been running them all at 400 watts. Now, if I was to be very honest, I don't think every one of my customers are running their amps at 400 watts. But, this is something that ACMA could really, do us a favour and revisit. I'm not impressed with any of the organisations and what they're doing for that. I've read their papers, and it's all just the same as before. So I'm not sure, how that gets fixed. Okay, so we're stuck with 400 watts. So for the time being, this is the perfect amplifier to give you 400 watts. So that's, great. Now, look, I think this is actually going to a good mate of mine. So please, unless we indicate it's for sale, look, it probably is going to somebody at the moment that's in dire need of a solid state amp. And we couldn't quite take the big number that the Tokyo High Power stuff came off him. And when I mentioned that, hey, we've got something that might be right up your alley that's not going to cost you, too many zeros, he was very interested. So I think, that's what's going to go. And he's a great guy. And part of this today is just really to do a working demonstration. Okay, enough raving on. Let's just sort of have a look again on ALC. So we're on 10 meters at the moment. That's supposedly probably the band we're going to get a little bit lower output out of an IC740, but won't matter with this here. 1 2 3. Hello, 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 hello. 1 2 3 4 5. VK3 Charlie Mike on dummy load. Hello, test 1 2. Now you could argue that I could zap that that ALC back a bit, just a little bit. But I probably, I don't think RF power actually adjusted on these. Let me just check something. Hello, hello. Oh, it did. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so, or as you can see, it does adjust power on here. Sorry, my mistake. So let's bring that up a bit. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, 1, 2. I'm still just going over a bit there, so let's come back a bit. Hello, hello, 1, 2, hello, 1, 2, hello, 1, 2, hello. Yeah. So still, you know, as you can see, to be that astute amateur that says, I'm never going to go over 400 watts, a bit like F calls with 10 watts and, you know, standard calls with 100 watts, then good luck. I mean, and I'm not making fun of anyone here, not the ACMA or anything, please. I've had my problems there and I think we got them sorted. But I am saying that I don't think the ACMA are going to jump on you. When they come, you're going to need to show them that you can show them, you know, the power output at 400 watts PEP. So just remember, you know, as I said, I don't think they're going to be able to tell whether you're running 500 watts or 400 watts. But if they do come to your door, invite them in, make them a coffee, and do be prepared to show them your installation and how you operate it. You know, and that's the key. It's really, I don't have any problems with ACMA per se. Some of the policies at the moment I'd like to see change, sure. Well, only the 1 kilowatt license. I don't really have too many other issues that are, you know, strikingly, overt, need to be sorted out. But you know, look, we all enjoy the hobby and we enjoy playing with all these bits and pieces, so it's a whole lot of fun. The old bits and pieces like this, I mean, they're certainly good fun to just see, you know, how they go. Actually, that knob needs a bit of doing up there. I just noticed a little bit loose. Let's go down to 7 megs for a minute, so I'll remember how to use one of these old things. Oh, geez, I tell you. Oh, yeah, it actually has a band switch, of course. And bear in mind, it did change because, of course, you had these here. You changed bands from the band on the band there, and then we went back to there, and obviously the old 701, which I got this out of a mate in Adelaide. How clean is this? I mean, this is just beautiful. I was tempted to do the, I might even do a quick test just driving that into it, just to say, look at that old beast work. But let's have a look on, sorry, we didn't go down far enough there. 7 megs. So we're on 7.1. Oh, geez. Yeah, I think we're on dummy load. Sorry. Let me just check. I just want to make sure that I didn't change anything. Okay, and a bit of a technical glitch there, so I'm going to get Riley to join these two videos together. Meanwhile, we found an old IC720A. My apologies. We were about to do a test on 40 meters, and I was a bit sort of sus. Just the dummy load I was using. There's a couple of things I noticed that it was doing, and I thought, So I just quickly swapped that out, which at the same time, we found this 720A sitting around, which we haven't fired that up just yet. But it just sort of fitted with the rest of the gear. So anyway, my apologies. So we were about to test on 40 meters. So we had, this radio here on 40. And we're going to go hello test, hello test. Now that's sort of nice. See how that's talking around that 300 to 400 watt range. Hello. Yeah, that's nice. And see, that's the thing, is that they drive nicely with the ALC connected. Without the ALC, they can be a little bit erratic. So just be cautious of, hooking up the ALC lead. And once again, you can set those ALC level adjusts, etc. It's a pity we've got to almost say goodbye, because we're going to have to put this last bit of the video together with the first few, 10, 12 minutes, I think it was. Anyway, this has been a bit of fun, just at least I'm giving the old girl a test over here, which is, what we wanted to do. But we sort of wanted to do it with a bit of old worldy stuff as well, and just see what was possible, and, just how it drove and what it did. What we might do is just, I just want to check one more thing. Although we might just have a look at a transmit signal on this old beast. I doubt I'll be able to stick around for the on the video for. It takes a little while to get in the CANDOS net, but I'll put a call in just on this old beast, and we'll do about 400 watts into them. Not bad for an old beast. And VK3 Charlie Mike.
Morning, Charlie Mike.
G'day.
Yeah, you don't need to make you as well. Alright, I'll quickly go over to you.
Just shows that's off a bit of wire. Certainly with 400 watts, which is nice. But nice to just hook it up on air. There's Kev. Lightning Ridge. I want to go to Lightning Ridge, meet those guys that made the TV show with Opals. I thought that was just incredible. All right. We won't hang around. I think it could be a while before I get called in, but I will call in on this thing. Actually, let me just put this on pause. We'll see how we go. Hopefully this doesn't make it a third video that I've got to cut in. Hang on. Oh, beauty, Kev. That's exactly what I'm after. I'm just testing an IC2KL amplifier, and so you'll be live on one of our videos. Just running about 400 watts at the moment on an old IC740. So there you go, the Icom 740 hand microphone. But thanks, mate. VK3 Charlie Mike, back to VK2 HMV. You're certainly coming in quite well on this old beast. Go ahead. Oh, business signals running out. Catch you guys. Okay, so that's good. That's just given us a chance to sort of say hello to some of the boys. Conditions are in and out today. Crazy conditions. I don't think Tom's even coming through. Oh, wow. Anyway, that happens. Okay, so the focus has been on the IC2KL. A great bit of history. If you can grab one, grab one. If you can get one of the 4KLs, grab one. Look, certainly great bits of history. All these radios we've been sort of having a look at today, look, they're great examples of history. They're becoming a little bit sort of, you've got to play and get them all sort of happening and working sometimes. But this 740 is not doing too bad. From memory, the 751, we've got a couple of things I wanted to have a look at, especially that blue light. Hate that blue light. Anyway, all right, let's get back to what we should be talking about. One last thing. The antenna tuner, which actually I've just got unhooked at the moment. I just did a bit of a rewire during videos. I know you're only seeing one video, but this is a product of two. One of the peculiar things about them is you had to set them by jumpers internally as to what antenna output. They've got 4 outputs. It was for what band. Now, I always thought, I never liked it at all as far as the system. It was a bit sort of annoying. I think an antenna switch on here would have been smarter, but they had the idea that no, you'll only have one antenna for 40 meters. Just hit the jumper, you'll be right. And God help you if that same antenna is for 20 meters or 10 meters. So there was some. You could set it up to obviously bypass all that, but it was just a bit frustrating. All right, well, this has been my little bit of a look at the old world bits and pieces, and they're certainly interesting to say the least. These are really good. Examples. Now, we've got a lot more of these out in the barn, I must admit. I just bought a few in. You could go crazy putting the IC251s and the 451s and all the different ones next to these that were exactly the same size. And, Icom just used to match through the ages, as you can see, the heights, and they really did do a good job. All right, well, oops, I'll fall off my chair here. This has been fun. We'll get this video put together by Riley. I told Riley the other day you can get a 3-letter call now, and he said, "No, I'm going for my 4 call." And I said, "Good on you." There you go. And he is. He's actually. We're just waiting for the maritime people to get back into gear with COVID-19, of course, which has been a rather big hassle. But he's ready, so we'll get him through as soon as Frank can put him through. All right, 73s to you. By the way, Frank is VK2 BFC. Does a lot of good work for the examination, and not just that, but education of people. So great guy. Don't tell him I told you that. He'll get a big head. 73s from VK3 Charlie Mike, JDW229. Probably that call sign's not real relevant with this equipment, but please subscribe, and thanks very much for all the comments. It's really good fun to have a look at what you guys are doing as well. Cheers.